Welcome back, Red Spotters, to the show here in the Red Spotlight Entertainment Podcast. I'm your host today, Alexis J. Soto, and I am joined by Mr. Peter Martinez, Kyle Lira, and Alexis Moreno. Ms. in this instance, Alexis Moreno, not Mr. That would have been a curveball. We have a show today based on the decade of 2000s, which is now in our rearview mirror. As we had promised, I want to say late December, I know, right? As we promised in late December, we were going to do a top 10 show celebrating the decade in film, which is similarly along the lines of our top 10 show in a year, but now we have 10 years to cover. First and foremost, how are you guys doing?
Alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, for now, yeah.
We're surviving. This is the end of days.
Day 10 of quarantine. Yeah. I'm gonna release my my diaries at the end of this whole thing. It's gonna be a New York Times bestseller.
Oh my god.
Right. So let's not waste any time. We got a lot of stuff going. I'm going to go to Peter right now, who's going to remind everyone of the rules and also at the same time tell listeners what the rules of this list is going to be.
Yes, here are the rules. No choking. No hitting of the face or the back of the head. Contact only body or legs, okay?
We could have used those rules in the Pixar list.
Oh, sorry, that was the Pixar list rules. You're right. I forgot. No, this is. Oh, wait. Let me look at the rules list. Okay.
Those are, by the way, those are lousy rules because blood was spilt regardless.
Yeah. Throats were slit.
Red wedding, bitches.
Okay. Here's the rules. We're gonna go down each year, and after each year, we're gonna run down what. Okay. Let me rewind a little bit. We each picked a film, our favorite film, so to speak, for whatever reason, of each year of the past decade, from 2010 to 2019. And the way we're going to really read this off is I'm going to introduce the year of 2010, and then we'll each say what film we picked for 2010, and then we'll discuss it. And then we'll move on to 2011, and so on and so forth. Yeah. And no hitting of the face or back of the head.
Shall we go ahead and commence with this? The first year, 2010. If we can go all the way back, which, wow.
Let me take you back, all right? Let's travel together.
Oh, God.
To the eons old age of the year 2010, okay?
2001, 10?
2010, okay? It's a sci-fi year, all right? You know, what's happening, okay? President Obama just signed the Affordable Care Act into law. 206 million gallons of crude oil poured into the Gulf of Mexico. Instagram was launched and Apple introduced the iPad. This was the year of 2010, okay?
Apple?
Fuck you.
Okay.
I just wanted... I'm looking at, because I have, and we should all have Letterboxd open just in case. While Peter is doing this, we all should have a list of like films that were from that year. I just opened it, and I already know what you two are gonna pick.
Okay.
Just looking at it.
Yeah. Like... Okay. Good then. it is one of the first films. So yeah.
Wait, we have honorable mentions, right? Some of them.
Oh yeah,
have
some
honorable
of you
mentions?
guys have honorable mentions. I didn't do honorable mentions because that would have been too stressful for me. So.
Oh, you would like instead of like 50 per, like you always do like 50 to 60 per year, and so that would have been like that.
That's
times
like almost
10.
1,000.
So the rules, right? The rules for honorable mentions, and if you have an honorable mention among the four of us, is only one movie that you get in addition to the official film that you select for any given year. So shall we start? Who has an honorable mention for 2010?
Okay, I have
Moreno. Let's go.
Okay.
Oh.
All right. Ladies first, I guess. Okay, go on.
No, we said Moreno goes first. Oh God, she wants to shoot me in the face.
I mean, mine was just Tangled.
I've heard of that film.
So then we just get the other people who have honorable mentions, and then we discuss?
Yeah.
Okay, Kyle, what's your honorable mention?
How to Train Your Dragon.
Oh God.
How to Train Your Dragon. And my honorable mention is Inception by Christopher Nolan.
Okay.
Normies.
Peter?
I told you I don't have any. I can't.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
It's like, no.
No.
Don't you put that evil on
So
me.
I feel Moreno picking Tangled is pretty obvious. I know, like, she swears by that movie, right, Moreno?
And Alexis, you hate that film.
I don't hate it. No. I don't hate
You've
it. It's
used
definitely
the word
not.
hate before.
Dear, I think you're confusing that with The Good Dinosaur, which is a horrendous film. Tangled actually has something
It's
called
okay to be wrong
charisma and
sometimes, Alexis.
charm and creativity and talent. And it's actually memorable, and you don't fall asleep while watching it. So
I will say, Tangled. It wasn't technically the start, but it was a second film in to like the second coming, pretty much or the third coming of Disney.
Like the third Princess and the Frog.
Yes.
It was officially the first one.
Yes. Princess and the Frog was the first one.
No, Tangled was.
No, Princess
But
and the.
That's
Are you
not
whoa.
knocking down Princess and the Frog.
This is Princess and the Frog
is
erasure.
An amazing movie.
This is disgusting. You are not a real Disney fan. Princess and the Frog erasure. Fuck that. No.
Princess and the Frog is an ending of an era.
No, it's not. It's the beginning.
Yes, it is.
It's the
No,
beginning.
it's not.
It's the beginning.
Peter.
Oh no.
Peter,
Oh,
I'm on your
no.
side.
Okay, good.
I want you to know, I'm on your side.
Okay.
I think Peter, Princess and the Frog, it set the template.
I'm literally watching Princess and the Frog right now.
Are you really? Flip that
Yeah.
shit around. Let me see. I need to. Is it? Wait, Alexis.
Yes.
It's too bright. I can't see.
Okay, but it is.
Well,
Here,
you-
I'll put it not on mute.
Oh, it is. She said Levine. Copyright.
Rude.
Copyright strike right there. But anyway, I think Princess and the Frog really set the template going forward in terms of like the quality of the movies, because it just like kept on like building of like quality films after quality films going after that, starting with Princess and the Frog, I feel like, and then Tangled, and then everything
it blew
else
up at Frozen.
yeah, and then everything was like all Disney
Yeah.
and everything. So but Tangled, like in terms of like what they were going in terms of like style, like that's where it began.
You know-
so I could
You know what I'll say about Tangled? I think it has the most emotional like couple song. Like everyone swears about By a Whole New World. It's like, eh. I
No,
think Tangled
like-
is infinitely better.
to me, I think I See the Light
Yeah.
is the better Disney duo song than A Whole New World by far.
Yeah. I've always liked Tangled.
I mean, it's definitely, I feel, far more emotionally resonant, and I'm not even sure. I mean, because like A Whole New World is nostalgic, but A See the Light, I recall when I first, because we were talking about this on Fantasy Fair a few days ago about the Disneyland Forever fireworks. When they first put this on, I See the Light with all the lanterns covering the castle. Yeah, I mean, this is a pretty, as far as the classic Disney is concerned, you can make several arguments. I think primarily is because this is the first like 3D computer generated like animated Disney movie, and Tiana wasn't, unfortunately. And what's different is that part of the reason why Tiana's movie, and I don't say the whole name because it's so long to say, but part of the reason why it bombed is because they figured out that making more generic sounding titles can appeal to boys, I guess, like Tangled or Frozen.
No, shut the fuck up. This is what happened. The Princess and the Frog didn't do well, so
Because the marketing sucked.
yeah, so they went from going back to making hand-drawn animated classic fairy tale type films to going like we're gonna make them CG animated, and instead of calling it Rapunzel, we're gonna call it Tangled, you know.
That's what I was saying.
But
yeah.
But I wanted to break it down. It all came from the supposed failure of box office of Princess and the Frog, and it's such bullshit. Anyways, but yeah, no. It's okay. God, I won't say anything more because I'm gonna delve into a whole other thing.
We can talk about this in the other one. I'm sure we will.
Well, I mean, speaking of Disney movies, DreamWorks. That was Kyle's pick. That's the year DreamWorks figured out how to make a Disney movie with How to Train Your Dragon.
To me, like, it is one of DreamWorks' bests. If not my favorite.
I think that trilogy might be their best, I think, overall.
Yeah, and How to Train Your Dragon really, like, set that. I mean, you have the gorgeous score by John Powell, and then it sets it forward. It sets up this wonderful world that is, like, richly. I mean, Shrek is in such a unique position because it started off in, like, a cynical standpoint, and then it became its own thing in the sequel. But this right here, like, it gets it right off the bat. And I think that it is, like, probably one of the best animated films ever. Like, you could put it in the top 10 animated films, or at least American, because I know Studio Ghibli has some bangers. But How to Train Your Dragon, it's just classic to me.
I like it.
And I like both of these movies too, and I think it's curious. Animation's going to be a theme for this year anyway.
To talk about Inception real quick, we had to. One of the worst things about Kyle is that he won't watch good things. Watch Breaking Bad, you fuck. And one of the things he did not watch for years was Inception. Until he was forced to, and then it was like, it was good.
Was that a To the Table episode?
That was a To the Table episode.
Yeah.
Oh wow,
you were part of it.
I do not recall that, but you know, it's fine though, because now officially, we've all done so many of these. We all forget we've even done that. No, to me, Inception, I think, is like Nolan at his best. I just felt it was a particularly inventive concept.
Is this an honorable mention?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And visually stunning. And I think a great ensemble cast. Like, it's been 10 years, and this is one of the few movies that I don't see, like, at all often, but I remember this. And I recall making a big impact. I think it was a big movie that year, right? As far
it
as
solidified the blah.
Yeah.
I saw this movie on my birthday, I think.
You did?
Yeah, but I remember this movie.
Sick invite.
Got me, like, motion sickness.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like, I'm not good at, like visual stuff, like 3D stuff. I can't watch it because then I get, like, really bad migraines and stuff. So, like, watching things like that, I can't take, like, what's that, Cloverfield? Forget about it.
Did you watch this in 3D? Because I know at this point 3D was all the
No,
rage.
I didn't watch this on it. I don't watch 3D movies.
Okay. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Honest to God, the only films I really remember watching in 3D was fucking Monster House.
I saw Avatar in 3D, and I think that's part of the reason why I don't like that movie.
Oh, really?
Ooh, yeah.
Wait, do you like Pocahontas?
Yes.
Oh God, here we go.
That's a different episode. That's a different episode. We have a different thing.
Seems a bit
just real quick,
hypocritical.
Leo had two big movies that year because Shutter Island was also that year, and it came so close to being an honorable mention anyway.
Oh yeah, I love that film. Oh, should we do officials now?
Okay, so my official for 2010 is, you guessed it, Toy Story 3.
Gross. My official is Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Same.
Wait, same to which one?
Scott Pilgrim.
Oh, fuck yeah.
That's your...
Wow.
Okay,
Yes.
well, I guess we're getting a triple dosage because mine is also Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Oh my God,
this is beautiful. And Alexis really thought he had that too. Oh,
You see? Oh God, okay, first of all, for those with actual taste, no, I'm kidding. It is, oh my God, it is so validating having like the majority of the board straight out pick Scott Pilgrim. This is beautiful. Where do we begin, my friends, with this?
This is one of the few films that's like, because I don't give a fuck that much. I like music, but it's like I could listen to the soundtrack to this fucking film
I would
forever.
listen to the soundtrack.
It's amazing. Like each song, it's like if they were an actual band, the Sex Bob-ombs, I would buy their fucking shit, like 100%.
First of all, the cast is phenomenal, like all-star cast, which at the time some of these people were like just barely getting started.
Yeah, they weren't big.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden you have like names like Chris Evans, you have Brie Larson, and everybody has, like blossomed into, megastars. And like, I don't think that a movie like this would be made
Mary Elizabeth
today.
Winstead, Kira Culkin, Allison Pill, Anna Kendrick, Brie Larson, Aubrey Plaza, Jason Schwartzman, Chris Evans, Brandon Routh, some like awesome people, like genuinely awesome people.
The way it's stylized, like I think this is Edgar Wright at his best.
Easily. Oh my god, I love it. It's easily my favorite Edgar Wright film. Like he took a film that seems impossible and made it possible in
Wait,
every
can we
way.
talk about like the beginning, like the my god. I remember going to go watch that movie, and then like as soon as that came out, we all just looked at each other and we were like, what is happening?
You're like, this is gonna be good.
Yeah.
For me, that moment is when like they start playing and like the room starts like slowly stretching, and then it's like dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck yeah, this is an awesome movie. And I'm 5 seconds into it.
When Allison Pill's character says, "We are a sex bomb, 1, 2, 3, 4," and it's just like it's a wild ride till then, and like somewhere in like a fantasy land in Canada, it's just like really, the movie is really funny. Him jumping out of the window was hilarious. I mean, there's just
he's like
so
no,
many...
he's not here.
and he jumps out the window. Hilarious.
The fucking vegan police.
The vegan police, yeah.
It's milk and
He's
eggs,
like...
bitch.
The gelato. That's funny. Like there's just so many things. The music you mentioned. Metric's Black Sheep is a bop.
Oh my god, that was like, if Spotify was a thing in 2010, this would be on like all of my like playlist of the year.
It's such a good song.
It has so many one-liners. Like, you were a little bi-curious. Well, I'm a little bi-furious.
Mae Whitman, fucking Mae Whitman. She's
awesome
in
too.
it too.
Oh my god.
I mean, there is not 1 ounce of bad casting at this. Like everybody has like a Jason Schwartzman. He's just like this one big nerd that you would anticipate to be some sort of like suave guy, but instead he's just like a giant doofus. Mary Elizabeth Winstead, like it's stoic, but it's because she delivers like such great nuance with her character, and it counterbalances with Scott Pilgrim's douchiness as well. I mean, it's just like this huge counterbalance. Also, we need justice for Knives Chow.
Yeah, what the fuck? That's the thing. Like, Scott Pilgrim's like an asshole, like very much so. But you also like the fact that you don't hate him and you care about him, I think says a lot for as far as what the film is able to do. But yeah, fucking Knives, man. They punched the highlights out of her hair.
Yeah.
There's so much creative shit. Like I could spend hours when Chris Evans' character, like he's the movie star, when he has to fight his stunt doubles.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then he gets his soy latte and he's like, ha ha ha, that's hilarious. And like the way that he enunciates things. The little trailer that they have for Spike TV, he's like, I got one hand on the trigger. Just like little stuff like that is just cream of the crop. Brilliant.
Alexis also hated this film, so...
You didn't like this movie?
Not in the slightest. In fact, every word of what was just spoken, I really wish I could feel that, but I think it was the exact opposite for me. I can't think of a film that was
the
more...
Death of Hope. Oh my god.
I'll gladly claim that title when it comes to this. I felt nothing.
Oh my god.
I literally, honestly felt nothing with this. Nothing of what was just discussed I could care for, even if it hit me in the face. We did it to the table, and I told Kyle exactly how I felt about it, and I told him what knowing what was going to be in this, but it's like, what you describe, Alexis, is how the movie got you from the beginning. I was like, oh, fuck, here we go. Okay.
But I feel like this movie, I mean, besides, like, even, like, not, like, Iron Man, I feel like this movie kind of set the tone as to what the decade was gonna be like, only because it's such, like, a mix of, like, it's like a comic, like, it's originally a comic book, like, you know what I mean? I don't know.
To me, it's
easily
like
one of the most...
It's close to a perfect film, if not a perfect film.
To me, that is the same. Also, I'm glad I found this. I bought a Blu-ray copy of this film, and I got a film vector with Ramona and Scott's first kiss, like a really huge part of the movie, and I'm a proud owner of that film vector.
By the way, how did you first watch the film, Kyle?
You did. To the table. By the way, there are a few To the Table films in here, just to let you know. Overall, like, this movie is inspiring. I get a giddy feeling after every time I watch it. This is definitely a go big or go home kind of film. It is comic book. It is stylized in such a unique way. I mean, there's so many things that you could watch, and it never gets old because like, you see, like, bits of, like, oh, like, this represents this number of X, that they're doing, and just, like, little stuff that you can find in the background. I mean, it has infinite rewatchability, has a rewatchability factor that I think is on comparison to a lot of films. And I said it before, and I said it again. This is probably Edgar Wright's best film.
We should probably talk about the other film, right? Like,
I mean, if I could at least have a chance to talk, because evidently I'm being punched 3 ways to none. We have a whole episode.
You're a little
we actually
bi-furious?
have 2. We have 2 whole episodes.
I think he's a little bi-furious.
Oh my god, let him talk.
We have 2 whole episodes on Scott Pilgrim. This would actually be a great plug for To the Table. The first one was with Peter and Kyle, and the second one was with me and Kyle. And we can have full thoughts over there, but it's like, I mean, I don't like this in the slightest, but nothing in terms of the quality as far as Edgar Wright is concerned is at all in question. So before I'm being painted as some kind of killjoy, I do appreciate the work that was put into it, but nothing in this movie I cared for at all. And if you're talking about all the things that were said about the characters being likable, especially Michael Cera, could not think of a character that I hated more in this decade. So,
oh my God.
Yeah.
By the way,
No.
I know for a fact if Julio were here, that would be a 4th pick for this film. Because in high school, he was obsessed with Ramona Flowers and married with Elizabeth Winstead. I remember that shit. That was hilarious. Toy Story 3. That was a film.
A lot of the movies that I picked are movies that can range from watching many times, from just being great as this one is, or either that in a very visceral, memorable reaction in the theater. And as I discussed, and we went into great detail about this, I feel, in the Pixar list that we just discussed, coming to the Fantasy Fair, plug for that. 3 hours long. So enjoy that. To me, this is Pixar's best movie, and one of I think maybe one of the most emotional experiences watching this film. And yeah, I mean, I really could think of no better movie that represents that year, and because that, to me, that's one of those really populist films where everyone that you meet really had a profound impact watching that movie that year. There were even people that were saying after the King's Speech won Best Picture for the year that I thought Toy Story 3 should have been in contention for that one. Because at that point, that was,
movie.
Pixar was going at its peak. What, the King's Speech?
Yeah.
I thought it was okay. I liked it. But it wasn't Best Picture, I feel. There were so many other. I think I'll even say Scott Pilgrim was a far more interesting pick for Best Picture than The King's Speech, and I don't like that movie at all. So yeah, I think Toy Story 3 is like a no-brainer as far as I'm concerned, but I'm not sure you guys cared for it. It seems like
we cared for it. I just think it's not.
Yeah, is what she said. I mean, I obviously love this film like a lot. I think I had it top 3 or 4. No, I had a top 4 in my Pixar list. I think it's amazing. I think it's perfect in so many ways. No, I adore this film, and I agree. I too had an emotional reaction in the theaters when watching it, which is very difficult. It doesn't happen all the time, but with this film, very much so. So yeah, no, I really like it. It's just it's Scott Pilgrim. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. The same.
Hard no.
100%, Peter.
2011 then. Shall we go? Any honorable mentions for 2011?
Let me take you back. Oh, wait.
Can I mention a couple of movies that came out this year that I think might be interesting? They're not like
20 which year?
What?
Like, I'm just watching the list right here.
Which year?
2010.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
The first one is going to be Insidious.
Oh, yeah.
This is like the movie that kind of started me watching scary movies.
Love that film.
Like out of
love
like
it.
all of like the scary movies that have come out, except for one, which is on my list. I think this one's my favorite. And then this one I recently saw like a few months ago, The Social Network.
Oh. yeah.
Yes.
That's a very topical one. Hey, that's the best Lex Luthor, huh?
We also got Kick-Ass that year.
Yeah, that was a big one. Like, people really liked that one, Kick-Ass. I remember at the time, it was I was like, this is a little weird. Like, dude, like it went a little too far for me, but like 2020, Peter is probably like, oh, you probably could have gone a little farther. So
and then the last one, this is the year that The Last Airbender came out.
Oh no. Oh.
Okay, a little bit of a confession. This was my introduction to the show.
Nobody cares.
No.
Love David Fincher and I love James Wan, and both of those movies are great contenders, and I loved it. Especially Insidious. Surprised that it was PG-13, and still great. So 2011 honorable mentions. Let's go.
Let me introduce the year. We gotta make it fun.
I forget. I'm sorry.
Okay, let me take you back to the magical year of 2011. President Obama has released a copy of his birth certificate. God, remember when those were the problems? Stop attacking my hair, you damn cat. Remember when those were the problems? Steve Jobs resigned as Apple CEO. Osama bin Laden was killed by American soldiers in Pakistan. And the last Oprah Winfrey show was broadcast.
Ooh.
Wait, resigned or died?
Resigned. No, he didn't die yet. Spoilers. Okay, 2011 list. Let's go. Go.
Honorable mentions? Real quick?
Oh, yeah, honorable.
My honorable mention is Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
Oh,
wow. Love it.
That's a really good one. Yeah. Anyone else?
Okay, my honorable mention is Captain America: The First Avenger.
Wow.
Okay.
Not that wow, but come on.
Wow, because it's not his.
Oh, not his top. Oh, that's true.
Okay. Hugo.
Oh, ooh.
Hugo is my honorable mention for 2011. Yeah, I'll start. I'll start the ball rolling in this year. Hugo, it's so inspiring. The way that the characters are infectious. They're really good. It surprised me when I saw the tag Martin Scorsese tagged at the end, because I was like, wait a minute, the gangster violent director guy directed this movie? That's impossible. But search my feelings, I knew it to be true. It was Martin Scorsese. And I think that this movie is like it just the way it speaks about its love for film, this like wonderful like Tim Burton-esque kind of whimsy that I find really good. Sacha Baron Cohen is also really good. Chloe Grace Moretz is really good as a Butterfield. The list goes on in terms of like the cast and everything like that. Is as far as I'm concerned, the MVP of the movie is Ben Kingsley, and I think Ben Kingsley nails it out of the park. And also, this is my introduction to a little movie, one of my favorite movies of all time, even though it's 12 minutes long, A Trip to the Moon, and I love the little like shout out and tribute to that. So if you really love film, Hugo should be up there.
As far as Captain America is concerned, when I think of an old-fashioned idea or concept of what a superhero is, or what I would want to look for in a superhero, the first Avenger is my idea of what that was. In many ways, and I don't mean to compare this as far as the greatness of Dawn or Superman, but this was that for me as far as like the wave in the beginning of this decade with superhero movies. And Steve Rogers is my favorite character ever, and mainly because of this movie and for like what he represents and for what he holds, dear, the humanity of it. And honestly, one of the few Marvel films that you can watch again and again, at least for me. I know it's not everyone's favorite. I know two of us love it a lot. The other two, I'm not sure how high it is or care for it, but I think it's one of Marvel's best origin stories for sure. And to me, it gets better every year. Love this film, love that character. And I wish we had more movies like that, because it felt very much like an old Hollywood style film, and I wish we can have a little bit more of that come back, at least in this decade. So that's why I picked that one.
Fuck Steve Rogers. Let me tell you why Steve Rogers is a horrible...
If Alexis could, he would, all right?
Oh, wow. Okay.
I mean, I'm not blaming him. Moreno. Why'd you pick yours?
I think this one, besides like my main pick, this is like maybe the only movie that stood out to me that I like remember going to go watch it, like, because I'm like looking at the list here and like none of them really, except for maybe Captain America, but like it's not that really high up there.
Damn.
But this was like my introduction to like Planet of the Apes and stuff, and it's just great. James Franco I think is great. What's his name? Caesar, I think, is great. Yeah.
Oh, Andy Serkis.
Andy Serkis.
I think you're like, oh my god, James Franco. And the monkey, yeah, whatever. But James Franco. He killed it in Planet of
Franco
the Apes.
was great in the movie.
Yeah.
And Andy Serkis is even better. No, I agree 100%. 2011 wasn't that great of a year, but this was, to me, one of the biggest surprises of the whole decade. Mm-hmm. This movie was so much better than anybody expected it to be.
I remember like going to go watch this and like not wanting to go watch this because like
right.
like I had heard about like Planet of the Apes, but it just like never caught my attention.
You think of the Tim Burton disaster, right?
Yeah.
From a few years ago.
And so like they wanted to go see this one, and I'm like, why? Like I don't want to. It's weird. And I saw it, and I was like I remember watching it over and over and over again.
No, it whenever I think about like fuck remakes or and shit like that, especially of classic films or properties, I always go like, but god damn it, they were able to do it with Planet of the Apes. Like, so that's the one thing that like pulls
and
me
like
back.
the thing about those movies is that like they kept getting better. Like they're not bad.
This trilogy in particular got better as it went along.
Yeah.
It was weird.
It's probably one of the better trilogies in like cinema.
I think you can make a real argument this was the best trilogy of the decade.
Whoa.
Maybe.
Star Wars new trilogy?
Argument.
Come on now. Those are all really good picks so far. The honorable mentions, I mean.
Yeah.
So the official ones then, right?
Yeah, let's do official.
Yes.
All right, let's go.
Go ahead.
Hugo.
The Cabin in the Woods.
The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Oh God, you would.
Oh God.
Alexis Moreno.
Mine is Deathly Hallows.
We all picked something different.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, what was your guys's?
This is part 2, right?
Yes, part 2.
Part 2. Alexis picked Hugo, and I picked The Cabin in the Woods.
Oh, okay. That was gonna be like one of my mentions.
Oh, okay, good. Oh, see, there you go. Damn, which one do we tackle first? Since they're all different, I can go first if you want, just to get out of the way.
Okay.
I love this film so goddamn much.
This is Drew Goddard, right?
Yeah, Drew Goddard.
Yeah.
A script, I believe, by him and Joss Whedon. They like,
wow.
Yeah, they like knocked it out in a hotel on one weekend, and it really is just sort of a loving throw up of the entire horror movie genre, and just like the most fun way humanly imaginable. It plays on every trope of horror films, and if you've seen every horror film ever made like me, like it's just everything. That third act is one of the greatest third acts of any film ever made. And if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. It has so many amazing Easter eggs, and it's just like, it is the definition of payoff. I love the film. I love the film so much. Yeah. Kevin
And you
Owens.
can't go wrong with Chris Hemsworth, right?
Well, I mean, he didn't last that long, so you can. Yeah.
Moreno?
I mean, it's Harry Potter. It's the ending of Harry Potter.
Yeah. I don't know what else you could really say.
This wasn't the only one that I went to go see at the movies, like premiere, but it was one of the best movie experiences that I've had. My cousin, who's like one of the biggest fans that I know, like I went with her, and well, like all of my cousins, but she was like the one that was like super excited, and like people went dressed up. There was like the couple sitting next to me, they were dressed up as Lucius Malfoy and Bellatrix, but like legit costumes, and like I think we even saw it twice. Like we got out of there, and then because we went to like the first showing, we got out of there and we were like, we have to go watch this again. But yeah, I mean, it's Harry Potter.
Okay. I don't want to knock it, because I actually really like the Harry Potter films, but I will. It's a bit of a knock what I'm about to say. The reason why I'm not in love with the Deathly Hallows films, part 1 and part 2, is because I remember reading the book like when it first came out. Like I really was like a crazy Potterhead. At that time, I really loved the books, and I like the second it came out, got it, devoured it in like a couple days. And I specifically, when reading it, I remember thinking, wow, this is gonna translate amazingly well to the big screen. And then when I saw it, I was like, it didn't quite live up to what I thought it could.
You had great expectations.
I didn't read the books till after watching all of the movies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But even then, like, because I would I took like a week to read all of them, but I would like read one book and then watch the movie right after.
Yeah.
And because I try to do the same with Lord of the Rings, and I think that's why I just like don't like those movies.
No, you know what? You know what? I'll agree with you. I don't like the Lord of the Rings books. I think they're fucking boring.
I even tried to do like the audiobooks or something, and I could not. Like, no. I don't even think I got past like the second chapter. But yeah, like the obviously the books are definitely way better. But I think for me it's more like it's the ending of an era type of thing. And like I think that's why.
It took 12 years to make.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. I'm with, in terms of this movie, I'm with Peter. Because I remember reading the book and like the fact that everybody was surrounding Harry and Voldemort when they were doing the showdown. I think that was such like a kind of sick burn kind of thing.
Yeah.
When he was like saying, "Oh, the wand doesn't belong to you, does it?"
Yeah,
Voldemort?
like he put him on blast. Like when I read the book, it felt so cinematic. Like very like just. It felt more cinematic than the movie, if that's even possible, with just like they fucking threw everything at the kitchen sink. The fucking centaurs coming out of the forest attacking.
I remember like when I read the book, every like 5 seconds I would run up to David like into his room and be like, "Oh my god, this is happening."
Yeah. Like it was amazing. And and also, you know what really makes it disappointing though to me is because they split it into 2 parts. So I was like, because you know in books,
they could have added more.
Yeah, they could have done it. I feel, and the fact that it wasn't, I was like, oh man, you know, it's still a good movie. Like it does a great job. But it's just, you know, from book to film, it's
yeah. It also like it. I remember reading the book and like the Snape chapter just utterly like put me in tears. And I don't know.
I feel like they did a good job with that in the film. Like,
I come from it from the perspective of not reading any of the books, including this one. I didn't watch these movies until years after, courtesy of Kyle. And I didn't have any of those expectations. I will say I really did not like Deathly Hallows Part 1. I fell asleep watching the movie.
It was too stretched out.
Yeah.
Part 2,
half of it is just them in the fucking woods.
Yeah. Part 2 though I thought was a great finale. I really enjoyed it.
The book is like that times 20. Like there's a lot more like crazy shit that just comes out, and
Sassmaster comes out.
Oh yeah.
Sassmaster Harry,
Hagrid's brother.
Oh yeah.
He comes in and he comes back and just starts kicking ass. Like, oh my god, it's so great.
Yeah. No, Fred. Who's the twin that dies? Fred.
Yeah, the brother.
Yeah.
His like
when I read
book,
that.
Oh no,
my god.
I think him and like not even what's his name? The one that turns into a dog.
Sirius Black.
Sirius Black.
Like not even his death made me cry. What made me cry was Harry's reaction, but Fred's death was like, oh, the death of me. I couldn't.
Yeah.
And that's where you get like the gratification of when Molly Weasley says, "Not my daughter, you bitch," to Bellatrix.
Yeah.
That really, like, you feel that shit when you're reading the book, because like it's been so long since then, because like so much shit happens in between that you do get that sense of justice, which like, and that's what happens when you like read the book first and then watch the movie.
Yeah.
Is that you just don't get that kind of like effect.
Yeah.
Versus like Fred's death happens
behind
5
the
minutes
scene too, and it like you only see his body in the movie. I don't know. I kind of wish they would have shown that one at least.
Yeah, and again, I know you have to cut down on shit, but it's like you're the ones who split it into 2 movies, so no excuses.
And the reason why is because David Yates, I remember reading on Entertainment Weekly, that's where I got my news media back in the day. He said that the reason why we were splitting it into 2 movies is so we could tell the finale right.
It's because of money.
It was because of money. It's because that's what they were all doing at that time. But if you're gonna do it, like, come on now, do it right. But it's still an enjoyable film. what was Hugo?
Hugo.
I adore Hugo. And you know what's funny? When that film came out at that time, I was like, ugh, fuck this. This looks like another typical cheesy fucking kids film that I'm gonna fucking hate.
Like
And,
Narnia.
I actually like the original Narnia, but it's like, I don't know, like some other films that would come out at the time where it's just a complete waste. And I didn't watch it until years later. And then I watched it. I'm like, oh my God, I fucking adore this film. And again, I didn't know it was directed by Martin Scorsese. I was just like, it's on.
Who would?
Yeah, it's just like, it's on HBO. Okay, I'll watch it. Oh fuck, this is so good. I adore the film. It's quite obviously a love letter to film, wrapped up in this mystery of the boy. And go ahead, talk about it, Alexa.
Well, I mean, again, to plug, we did the Scorsese files on this feed, and we had a whole section of Hugo when we reviewed it last year. And to me, a lot of the films that I'd seen from Marty before, Martin Scorsese, I got to know him very well as far as his head is concerned. But this is the first film that I got to see his heart, and it reminded me very much of mine in terms of like where my love of, film and cinema comes from. And it oozes off the goddamn screen how much he loves movies in this particular film. It's one of those I think it's even made in some instances like to watch it with the sound off. It's beautiful. The set design, of course the ensemble cast, and the tribute to George Méliès, who is the father of visual effects, who made A Trip to the Moon, who for many of the films that we just discussed and will discuss on the show would not have happened if it were for him. So like I wanted to include a film by Martin Scorsese, and honestly, all of the movies he made are deserving of being on any of these, but this is the one to me that I keep going back to. I think when I first saw this, I went back and saw it again and again last year, not in theaters, but I don't know what you can say. It's just that I adore it, and its heart is full of charm and love, and yeah. It's just a perfect movie to me. I loved it.
It's also 3D.
It was, although I don't think we saw the 3D parts though, because home video.
You can always tell when a film was 3D because it always has just one shot of like whoosh.
And again, a sign of the times. We're still in 2010, 2011, this is when they were all the rage.
Yeah,
it seems
everything
like 3D films.
Everything was 3D. Alexis Moreno, did you ever see Hugo?
Nope.
Okay. Watch it. It's gross.
I think you'd love it. Yeah, it's not unlike anything Martin Scorsese has ever made.
No one gets shot in the face.
I saw this movie when I was on the plane to the Philippines, and even amongst all the turbulence and all that stuff, I was still like, my eyes were glued to the screen at the back of the
way
back
Martin
of the
Scorsese
seat.
had intended for you to see
The
on
way
an airplane.
he intended on a plane, but it captured me. I was like, wow, like even despite everything that was going around me, I still watched it.
That
and
right there
enjoyed
proves Peter's point that it doesn't matter where you watch a movie. A good movie will have you invested no matter where. If you're on a damn airplane with turbulence, if the movie's that good, it's got you.
And I was dead tired too. I remember being dead tired, but still, I was like, "This I gotta finish this movie. It's too good to pass up."
So, Girl in the Dragon Tattoo, Daniel Craig.
Oh
Yes.
my god.
Yeah,
You
that's
see,
why
that's why
we
we're
why
saying-
we were signed when he said that. Okay.
Okay, so The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, directed by David Fincher. God damn, like chilling, just goosebumps when I watch this movie. The way it handles everything like that. I mean, it is the ultimate definition of girl power. It is very much of a feminist movie. It shows like the ultimate dark side behind male intentions, and it's just like there's one scene, and I'm pretty sure everyone who's seen the movie and knows of the books know what scene I'm talking about. God, like I've never felt more uncomfortable. Like the last time I felt uncomfortable watching a movie like a scene like that was when I saw Passion of the Christ.
Another one
That's
of
a
your
story you don't
favorites.
want to hear. You don't want to hear that
That's
story.
another one of your
It's horrid.
favorites.
Oh my god, it's so, that rings so true. You know how Peter said about me fucking Chris Evans? You could say this thing about Kyle and Daniel Craig. There's something between those two. I don't know.
It's very one-sided. Come on now.
Oh well. Yeah.
Those blue eyes, though, man.
No, his eyes are
shit.
beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, Daniel Craig. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But like, honestly, Rooney Mara as Elizabeth Salander is awesome. Like she, like Woman Hear Me Roar. Like I think that she gets lost in the conversation of strong female characters. The way that she fucking owns despite everything that goes on with her. She's stuck in a horrible situation. She gets into horrible situations, and yet she powers through like a motherfucking beast. And I love it. Daniel Craig, very demasculinated in this movie. And it that makes Rooney Mara's character as like, you know, Michael and Elizabeth such perfect foils for each other, and the story that it tells also. And I think that this movie just gives me goosebumps just trying to lead to everything like that, because you realize that you're in this dark, sinister, gritty world, and everything around you is fucking evil. And I love that. I love the way that movie makes me feel by making me feel bad, but it just like it gets you going because of its like danger that you feel throughout the whole entire movie. And honestly, like when I left the movie, I couldn't like watch anything for days after I watched it, because like of the way like it made me feel emotionally, and I just like I love this movie. I came for Daniel Craig. Let's just put that out there. I
In
came
more
for Daniel
ways
Craig
than
in the
one.
movie in more ways than one. But this movie, like, it made me forget that he was in the movie, and I was like paying attention to Rooney Mara's performance, like, goddamn, like she should have won the Oscar that year. I don't know who did, but she should have won it. I think it's just a brilliant movie. I love it. David Fincher did really good. The way it's shot, beautiful. All around, great movie.
Fincher's a great filmmaker. I never saw the film though. Anybody else here see it?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Okay. Okay, what do you think of it?
It's a good film, but it stars Daniel Craig, so you know. Yeah.
Okay, can I mention two movies?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, was it two or three? The first one. This is the year that I don't know how to pronounce it. Contagion.
Contagion.
Oh no! Why are you doing this?
Very topical.
Thor also came out this year.
I've heard of that film.
Remember that?
Thor? Do you remember Thor?
Drive.
Yes.
Drive
Yes.
came out
Great
this
movie.
year.
Great movie. Yeah.
And then The Artist.
The Artist. I never saw that, but I should have seen it. Yeah.
I love that movie. It at the time, I was really into like black and white films, and then this movie got nominated for Oscars, and I was freaking out. But yeah.
Yeah, to me, my first exposure to Steve Carell was actually, and I think also Ryan Gosling, was Crazy Stupid Love, which I think was one of the better romantic comedies of that decade. And then also, I think this may be in contention to be Abrams' best film, which isn't a very high bar, Super 8.
Oh yeah, Super 8. I like Super 8.
Mm-hmm.
People were kind of mixed on it, but I like Super
Sucker
8.
Punch came out this year also.
Oh yeah, I remember that film.
I like that movie.
So, the year is 2012. Barack Obama was reelected president of the United States. what else happened? The spacecraft Curiosity landed on Mars. I'm trying to find stuff that doesn't look sad.
Well, I mean,
Sad.
look at
Sad.
the Mayan calendar officially ended.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the whole Mayan calendar thing. Yeah, the world didn't end. That's right. That was the whole thing. Everything else is sad. So let's end with that fact. 2012, people. Do you guys have honorable mentions for 2012?
Yes.
I have two. One for obvious reasons. One for obvious reasons. I'm not going to dive into it.
Oh my god.
Skyfall is my honorable mention.
Oh.
And another one was my first Quentin Tarantino film, Django Unchained. I love the movie. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. I could go on forever. But yeah, those are my two honorable mentions.
My honorable mention is Joss Whedon, The Avengers.
Okay.
My honorable mention is Lincoln.
Really?
Wow.
Holy crap.
Peter hates that movie.
When have I
Really?
ever said it that I hated the film?
Last time I think we talked about it.
I don't remember saying that.
Okay.
So
the movies were Skyfall and Django for Kyle. I picked The Avengers.
It was Django, and then Lincoln and the Avengers.
Let the sky fall, let it crumble, you know?
So Django, I love it. I think it's great.
I agree. I mean, there's nothing. I'm not sure of a single issue with the movie. It was my first movie from this director that I saw back then. 2012 was the year that I really got invested in movies, like for the first time ever, and like went out of my way to see movies that I would never like bother seeing. And this movie was an experience, and it's like if you need a crash course in what or who Tarantino is, this is a great film to do.
I remember Fox News being pissed off about this film massively.
They were pissed off about the Muppets.
Yeah, but that's why it's so funny. But I think because like, what's his name? He had hosted SNL. Fucking Jamie Foxx, and he was like, yeah, in the movie I kill all the white people. He had said something like that as like a punchline, and then people applauded. And then of course Fox News is like, really, you're applauding killing white people? Like, it was a whole thing.
Oh my god.
Anyways, everyone that died in that film, well, not everyone, but most people that died in that film was very satisfying.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
it was very much like a revenge superhero flick. That's basically what it was. It's to me, it's like Tarantino at his most Tarantino-est.
Oh yeah.
Like every part of it, from the filmmaking to the musical choice to the story, just like straight up historical revenge. It is just as Tarantino as it gets. I love it. Yeah, it's one of my favorites of his.
Same. I have no, like, I like this movie as soon as like you're Django in the beginning, like it was hook, line, and sinker for me. I love it. And I love spaghetti westerns too, and just the style that that Tarantino. I mean, you could obviously tell that it's a love to that genre as well. I mean, it's just like it's so many different things going with it, that make it such a delicious film.
What are the other honorable mentions?
Avengers. I picked the Avengers.
Yeah. Go ahead.
What I mean, again, like in the Avengers, but especially this was like a moment, as far as like pop culture was concerned, and this is to me like, this is the year where I was like I was a junior in high school at this point when this movie came out, and to me this was like the first like huge movie that wasn't like Harry Potter or Pixar that people were like really like everyone was talking about, like, did you see this movie? Have you gone? How many times did you go see this movie? We all like talked about this back then. Like, it is to me like the perfect idea of a pure cinematic experience, and just like the thrills and the joys of it. I love it.
The word of the town was these 2 words, puny god.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I had friends who I haven't spoken in years. I went to go see it like 6 times, 7 times. Like, this is like one of the first movies where like everyone was asking, how many times have you gone seen it?
And this was like the first like big audience interaction that I've ever seen.
At least for us, right? Yeah.
At least for us, yeah. Because like it was the word on the town. Did you see the Avengers? And if you did, go see it. You know, that was what everybody said, and it was like pretty much like the biggest thing since sliced bread.
And I think, to me, honestly, like everybody remembers like the big money shot at the end where you have all the Avengers, like, you know, we're the Avengers. But like, I remember hearing that score by Alan Silvestri for the first time. That Avengers theme is, I think, one of the best themes of that whole decade. I mean, Alan Silvestri is so, I think, to me, underrated, but great score.
That theme is pretty much iconic.
Yeah. And the other one, you guys, any Moreno? You picked Lincoln. I never heard you talk about this movie before.
I mean, we don't have to.
I talked about it when I saw it because I saw it either last year or the year before, and I was crying the whole time.
Whoa.
Like, by the end of it, I was mad, and David was there.
Oh
with
no!
me,
Did you not know how it ended? Was it a twist?
Oh my god. Anyways, yeah, I think it's a great movie.
All right, so then the official, once.
Yeah. Let's do official. Mine was the Avengers for the official.
Mine too.
Wow.
Okay.
Kyle?
The Avengers. Hold on. It's not the same. I was just writing them down so I could keep track of y'all's. That way I could.
Okay, I'm writing them down too. So it's good that we have a record of it.
Oh.
So what was yours?
Okay. Mine is look down. Don't look them in the eye.
No.
Look down.
This podcast was a mistake.
You're here until you die. Yeah. How about you,
Lincoln.
Alexis?
Daniel Day-Lewis in Lincoln. Steven Spielberg's finest film of the decade.
Moreno?
Yeah.
She said the Avengers. So Moreno said the Avengers. Peter said the Avengers. Kyle said Les Mis.
Okay.
And I said Lincoln. Can I just pick up on what Moreno was saying about Lincoln? It's my favorite Spielberg movie beside, well...
It might just be your favorite Spielberg.
It might just be. Yeah, like, to me, this is... Kyle will even say this, I think, because we were working on this thing called The Roar in senior year of high school.
That was a thing.
And that was a thing, yeah.
It was a school newspaper that ran for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, it was a disaster. It was honestly, to me, one of my first disasters in life. So thank yours truly for that. First of many, of course.
And this is so fitting.
Yeah.
You wrote a Lincoln review, and
yeah, my first ever review of anything was for this movie.
And I wrote a review for Skyfall.
And it was 90% puns.
Oh my god. It was just the script of the movie.
I still have that review.
I know.
for Skyfall.
I've read it. Oh my god.
I love it. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, like, to me, no, Lincoln was a special moment for me because it came along like other films like Django, Silver Linings Playbook, Life of Pi that came out that year, Avengers. Like I said, this year was like the first film I got so sucked into the world of movies, and this one to me, I knew that it came from a great director whose films I'd always loved, and at that point. 2012 being the year that Obama got real. I was a big Obama guy back in 2012, maybe not so much now. But in 2012, I was like all in on his reelection, and I was really, really into politics and all that crap. To see Daniel Day-Lewis in that movie, to me, it still remains among the best performances I've ever seen, because you expect a conventional biopic and you have your standard actors and this here and that there, but it defies those conventions, focusing on a specific lens in time about one of the final things that he did. And more than just being important in the sense of it has an important tale to tell, the performance in and of itself, Daniel Day-Lewis is not playing a character. He becomes the real person. That performance, to me, I think is the single best transformational performance I'd ever witnessed on screen. To this day, it still blows me away. And I was so happy. And mind you, not many of my favorites have won any Oscars. It really got me happy to see him go up there and win Best Actor, as he should have, for this performance.
But you
and it
had
made me
to like the film.
Well, I mean, Argo fuck herself, right?
Yeah.
And that came out that year too.
See, this is where I completely disagree with you. I think Steven Spielberg was just the wrong person to make this film. Quentin Tarantino should have made this film. It would have been it would have been the same film, except I assume the third act would be similar to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. As far as revisionist history goes, and I much would have preferred that. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on the issue.
Moreno?
Similarly to what's it called? Harry Potter, but instead this is the beginning of a giant
Franchise.
Yes. I mean, yeah, I think Alexis pretty much said it. Like, that scene where they all come together at the end is one of the best scenes.
Like, the whole battle in New York is still one of the best set pieces ever I've seen. In any action movie. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
It literally was epic, and this is going to go down in history as like one of the biggest releases.
I recall
of all time.
Filming for BNC, we did a series of favorite theatrical experiences, and this is one of the ones that Peter picked.
Oh yeah, no. I loved, because this was one of those films, the rare times where it's like you have unbelievably high expectations for a film, and then it meets them and then exceeds them. Like this was a film where like I was going like, oh no, I can tell the film's close to ending. I don't want this to end ever. Like, I adored this film. I saw this in a packed crowd. Everyone was into it. There was a lot of kids, and they were just like, oh my God, look at the whole... Like, it was very wholesome, I should say. I loved every second of it. Like, it's easily one of my favorite comic book films ever. I think it still holds up. I think it'll be viewed as a classic. I adore it. I think it has something. There's just something to it that I don't know has even been captured in Marvel since this film. Just a certain magic to it. Maybe it's Joss Whedon at the top of his game. I don't know. But it's no other film gave me the experience that year that the fucking Avengers did. No.
Joss Whedon really like captured the essence of like ensemble piece.
Oh, perfectly.
This one as well. Yeah. So.
Oh, this is a bitch, isn't it? This movie was something for you. Oh God.
Les Mis.
Memories.
Memory all alone in the moonlight. Les Mis.
Can I just say before you start, this was the first musical that I was like, I left.
Oh, damn.
Keep in mind, I am someone who loves musicals, but me and my brother were watching it, and I was like, I can't, and I left, and he finished it.
You walked out of the movie.
Well, we watched it at home, but like, I left.
You left your house?
Twist that knife, Alexis. Twist it. Oh no.
Oh wow. Did you really have to say that at the beginning? That's a Peter move right there.
Wow.
No, I get her sentiment completely though, yeah.
I think the only Alexis Soto remotely likes it.
Let me be clear. I think it's great. Honestly, it's. I think, like I said to you, that singing the entire time hits like a ton of bricks, and either you're gonna go with it or you're not. I don't blame Moreno for walking out of it. I really don't. But yeah.
I was for it. I'm pretty sure I could sing the entire soundtrack to you, which is essentially the entire movie.
You own the whole soundtrack.
I own the whole soundtrack. I own the movie. I've watched it to death. I tried to do a school production on Les Mis, which failed miserably, but nevertheless, I went trying. And
you went down trying, you mean?
I went down trying, yes. And honestly, like, this story is so good to me. I love its trials and tribulations about this guy. He just wanted some bread, god damn it. And the way it flows, Russell Crowe's performance as Javert, awesome. And then you get like a little twist of Burton in there with Helena Bonham Carter and Sacha Baron Cohen. And honestly, like, this movie, when it started off with the big old timpani drums, dun 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 dun, when it starts off with that, like, I knew I was in for something special. It's kind of like when we start off with the Universal Studios thing with Scott Pilgrim. Like, you know what you're getting yourself into. And this movie really did that. And the music, I love the Alan Bobel's lyrics and Cameron McIntosh. I love their lyrics. And I honestly, like, this dove me headfirst into loving, like, not only musicals but theatrical productions in terms of, like, all the Broadway shows, and that's where it got it started for me. And honestly, like, and also at the end of the movie, when everybody at the ABC Cafe and all the survivors from the revolution, they start singing along in a metaphorical heaven. I absolutely love it. My favorite line, one of my favorite movie lines, comes from this, and it is, to love another person is to see the face of God. And it's just like, and then it starts off into do you hear the people. I could go on forever talking about this, but the music, the acting, damn it, Anne Hathaway deserved that Oscar. She deserved it, and she got it.
I don't think you guys were around, like, with Kyle back then, but I mean, if you think Kyle can be annoying when he loves anything now, I mean, nothing was like Les Mis. Like, he lived, breathed, and ate Les Mis.
Like, I preferred watching Into the Woods than Les Mis.
I hated Into the Woods.
I did too.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. You can make a musical. That's fine. Don't sing every fucking word.
Oh my god! I think that's what annoyed me. Like, I
am going into the bathroom, and it's like, speak,
I could take it
and then
if it's
sing.
an actual, like, Broadway show, but I cannot take it in a movie.
It's so, I hate it so much. What are you doing here? Just say, what are you doing here? and then when you have a chance to sing, then sing. None of this.
That's why I'm kind of scared, like, for people to do Hamilton or to turn Hamilton into a movie, because that song is just pure singing,
pure music,
and I don't know if it would be good in a movie. Like, just give me
the only musical I've seen pull it off so far is Cats.
But even then, Cats isn't all singing,
isn't it?
No, I mean, some of the singing isn't really singing either. In that sense, but
I feel like it is.
Okay, Peter, you and I have had our discussions of Les Mis in the past. What is it about this movie that turns you off? Is it the whole sung-through notion of it?
Yes.
Is that it?
Okay.
Nothing deeper?
It's because I have to get into a film. Like,
it's
I have
hard to get
connect
past
to
that,
these
Kyle.
It's impossible. How do I connect with people that are just going like, I am sad, I'm so very sad? Like, I I don't, especially when they already have accents, I can hardly understand what they're saying, and it doesn't help that they're going like this every time they talk. Like and then they're breaking into song. Like for the life of me, I think I saw it like I had to restart it like 3 times. Like, what's going on with Anne Hathaway? Like, I don't know. Like,
okay, but it wasn't hard to follow.
Yes, it was.
I'll defend it.
I was like, who are you?
This was
Why
not
is
hard
this
to follow,
happening?
and I think the songs are actually pretty great overall.
When they're just songs, yeah. Like, you can pull apart, like, boom, boom, boom. Like, these are the songs, right? And then the rest just speak like a normal human being so that I can connect to you.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And again, Grease is my favorite movie. I love musicals, but I can't with this one.
I mean, I get it. And I think that's a valid excuse. I will say, though, I think this is unfairly trashed for other reasons, not that you just mentioned, other reasons.
When was this play written?
In the 80s.
In the 80s.
Uh-huh.
Like 1980s?
In
the play
80s,
it was
yes.
based off
Like
Victor Hugo, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's based off the book. It's
When
based
was the
off
book
of Victor
written?
Hugo's book. That was in the 1800s.
Okay. Because
The late 1800s.
this is another thing that's kind of hard to connect with. Like a lot of old literature, this is going to sound weird, but they're like very quick to suicide. Like I remember reading a lot of like Shakespeare, and it's like, oh, I'm feeling kind of sad. I shall kill myself. Like they're like very dramatic. Like that's basically what Romeo and Juliet was.
Yeah.
And there's kind of a lot of that in Les Mis too.
I
where
always
it's like-
preferred Julius Caesar.
Yeah, Julius Caesar was good. But like I think even in Julius Caesar it's like, my poor husband, I shall eat hot coals. Or I can't remember which one it was, but it's just stuff like that.
It's part of the times, man. I mean,
Yeah. But I feel a bit of that with Les Mis, where people just kind of jump to extremes.
Yeah, but I mean,
It's like
I
if-
understand that's part of the original DNA of it, so I don't hold it
Yeah.
against it, I feel. But
I understand. But just that on top of everything else just makes it harder for me to connect to it. It's like little tiny stacks on top that create a wall between me and the movie. and
But I think
connecting
I'll
with
tell
it.
you, I think what will make you hate this more than anything else is just picturing all the times, and I can because I was there and you guys weren't, that Kyle would just sing the songs on an hourly basis every single day of school. And not just to me, but often to crowds of people who would just come and listen to it for whatever reason. Like, honestly, Kyle almost formed a cult in high school because of his love and their love for Les Mis. He had a cult following him around, I'll just say that.
Oh no. What happened to school bullies, like where they would beat you up and take your lunch money?
Because I think the school bullies were afraid of me.
You would sing them. Sing
Sing
to
them to death.
Touch me.
Moreno,
alone.
any other movies from this year that were noteworthy to you? I got some. So we already mentioned...
Kingdom.
What happened?
Moonrise Kingdom.
I never saw it, but I know Tony swore by that movie. Like, he loved
It's a
it.
good movie.
Yeah.
Paranorman.
Life of Pi by Ang Lee
Mhm.
was really good.
Oh yeah, I really like that one.
Oh, I know. Project X.
Oh god, that was a fucking big thing at the time. People were like, "Oh
Yeah.
yeah, look at this sick
Let's
bro,
do
they're
Project
partying."
Yeah.
That song though.
That Project X probably fucked the whole generation. Wreck-It
We
Ralph.
created a lot of
Yeah.
the
Wreck-It
new
Ralph.
generation.
Wreck-It Ralph was great.
Wreck-It Ralph.
Oh, I love Wreck-It Ralph. That's
Looper
Yeah.
by Ryan Johnson.
Yes, Looper. That's the shit right
I
there.
personally really love Silver Linings Playbook by David O. Russell with Bradley Cooper and Jennifer Lawrence. Yeah, other movies like 21 Jump Street, Hunger Games came out. Yeah.
Paranorman.
Oh.
I adore Paranorman. Yes.
And another one that I thought was really cool was The Woman in Black.
The Woman in Black.
The one with Daniel
Daniel
Radcliffe.
Oh, I always fall asleep in that one.
I
And of
love
course,
that
Argo.
movie.
Argo came
Oh
out.
yeah,
that year.
Argo.
Argo, fuck yourself.
Or go fuck yourself. Yeah. Jinx. Yeah. Not a bad year film, actually. It's really good.
So 2013, Peter. What's the year in 2013?
Take us back to the year 2013. Okay, let's see what happened in 2013. President Obama was inaugurated for a second term. A partial shutdown of the United States government took place for the first time in 17 years. The National Security Agency began to collect the telephone records of millions of Verizon customers. Come on, give me one that's not depressing. Oh, Paris revoked its 200-year-old law that banned women from wearing slacks in the French capital. Bill Gates admitted that the Control-Alt-Delete command was a mistake. Yeah, I don't know. 23 ain't doing it for me, but yeah, that's
2013 was the
2013.
year we graduated.
The year you guys graduated.
3 of us graduated high school. And another thing, it was the year that began the Barely News crew that we did here before Red Spotlight. Kyle created the Barely News crew back in 2013.
No one's impressed.
I created the damn thing and I'm not impressed.
I'm not saying it's a big thing. I'm just saying it was a big thing for us because we
Yeah.
wouldn't have gone down the road where we wouldn't even be friends. Honestly, right now, if it wasn't for that, I would never have met Peter or talked with him, and neither would you two have if it weren't for that. Or Julio would have been such a big part of our lives. Like, it really was the beginning of where we are right now. So,
Sometimes it's a good thing, and sometimes, Peter, it's a bad thing.
Deal with it, bitch. Snowflake.
so honorable mentions.
Yeah, Saving Mr. Banks.
Okay. Alexis.
Snowpiercer, Bong Joon-ho.
Okay. Snowpiercer. Mine is The Great Gatsby.
My little French croissant.
Okay. Moreno. Your honorable mention. Saving Mr. Banks. Miss Disney here.
Disgusting history revisionism.
Why honorable mention? And I'm really interested now to see what your
You really don't know? Okay. Yeah, I mean, I love this movie. I watched this movie, I don't remember if it was 2 or 3 times at the movies because I wanted everybody that I knew to go watch it.
I just realized what it is. Oh my god. Yes.
I have a feeling I'm gonna be angry when I find out.
But I mean, I love this movie. It's Mary Poppins. It's Disney. It shows Disneyland in whatever year it was. I love it.
Okay. All right. I see where it's going.
I want to remain surprised.
All right. Alexis.
Snowpiercer was my first introduction, or my introduction to Bong Joon-ho. It was the first Chris Evans movie that I saw outside of the MCU. Still might be his best performance in this movie.
You didn't watch Fantastic Four?
That's right.
No.
Oh.
Or not another teenage movie? Dude, that
John
movie's so
Hurt
good.
is in this movie
Oh,
as well
that's good.
as Tilda Swinton, Ed Harris, and so many others. Octavia Spencer is also in this movie as well. And it is by a South Korean filmmaker. To me, this is like one of the most memorable films of the whole decade. And if you saw Parasite and if you loved that, or Okja on Netflix, go back and watch this one. To me, as a theme is in many of his movies, a lot of warnings, a lot of themes, but like it's just so impressive to see this movie just weave all of them so effortlessly to something that is so just cinematic. From the production design to all of it, to me, it you kind of have your jaw on the floor. I mean, your jaw drops to the floor because of just how good it is, and the performances that it gets out of the actors. It's honestly, I can't think of anything bad to say about this movie. And
it's a great film.
It is.
It's a blockbuster, very unlike the kind that you get here in the States.
I don't even see it as a blockbuster, but I guess it could be, huh?
It is.
Yeah.
Shit ton of action, high speed train, sci-fi dystopian shit.
Real quick, we had a great decade, and we'll see it in these episodes. We had a great decade for science fiction movies, and this one, I think, is like the cream of the crop when it comes to that. It's really good.
I completely agree. I think it's fantastic. I really, really love Snowpiercer. And come on, Bong Joon-ho.
And again, plug for To the Table. Go back and listen to those episodes.
Yes, go back and watch it. I like your honorable mention, Kyle, because I actually really adore the 2013 Great Gatsby film. Like, I really like it.
Really?
Yeah, right? It's kind of weird. Even I admit, for me, it's kind of a weird... But for some reason, I really love it.
I put off watching this movie for a long time. I think I barely saw it for the first time last year. I thought it was okay. I feel like everybody hyped it up a lot.
Don't pull a Kyle. Well, you guys hyped it up for me too much. Now I can't watch it.
I watched it though. And
yeah,
I just thought
that's
it was
true.
Like, okay.
To be fair, I think it's not just a Kyle thing. I mean, Moreno's done that. Nettie famously despises Inside Out because it was hyped up too much.
You goddamn millennials.
But yeah, when I went to your house, Peter, and I was like looking through your Blu-ray collection, and I found that movie, I was like, really? Like, he cares for the movie that much to buy it? I was like shocked because, you know, I was like, okay, I guess you like it because I think you're not the biggest Baz Luhrmann fan, and you don't necessarily like the bulk of his work.
Fuck Moulin Rouge.
That Romeo and Juliet thing was...
Oh, I especially loved Romeo and Juliet.
Oh, no.
But this...
They put that on in English class, and everybody just, like, unanimously dismissed it. I mean, more than any other movie that I ever saw with the class, right?
I was enamored.
That makes sense.
But, yeah, I was completely shocked about you putting on the Great Gatsby. First of all, to me, it represents the Roaring '20s perfectly in that era of history, the glitz and glamour, using hip-hop as, like, the kind of, like, glitz and glamour backbeat of the film. I think is just a perfect touch. Also, perfect acting from Joel Edgerton, Carey Mulligan, Tobey Maguire. Sorry. I was thinking of Spider-Man 3 because I watched that not too long ago.
Damn.
And also Leo DiCaprio. You can't go wrong with the man. Also, I think that this is the better retelling of the film, other than the over the Robert Redford film.
Yeah, no, this is my favorite version of that story. It's one of the few, to me anyway, I feel like Baz Luhrmann's he usually kind of fucking overdoes it with his films, but him overdoing it I actually think suits the story, and it better, like, because like a wild party in the 20s probably won't mean much. Like, it's really hard to encapsulate what that means to someone in like the 2000s, right? It's like showing them a scary movie from the 20s, and you're like, it's nice, but I'm not scared of it, right? So you sort of have to do an update to it to just sort of make the audience feel what it felt during that time, and just that excess
Yeah.
So him overdoing it actually fits with that, and the fact that he brought in sort of modern day music and rap to go along with it, I actually think it worked really, really well. And I know it was controversial, but I like it. I think it's like, if you're gonna keep remaking the same fucking stories, like, do something interesting with it.
Yeah, and also, like, because where we are culturally, I mean, we've heard of some bang-up parties, you know, that, like...
Project X.
The horror stories of, like...
There was a big coronavirus party over the weekend.
Okay.
No.
But, like, you go back historically, I mean, you hear horror stories coming out of the Playboy Mansion. I mean, there's just, like, different versions of, like... parties that you hear of, you know, being horrific, and so you have to kind of go a little bit overly bombastic with The Great Gatsby, and that's what it represents, you know, The Great Gatsby, the over excess and the downfall of man's hubris. And I love that, and it perfectly is captured here with all the characters. Tensions are high when they're in that hot room, going at it with each other. I think that is a perfect simile to that situation, and the way that it tells that story is just great. And again, completely was surprised that you liked it, because I really liked the movie too, but I thought that movie was, like, out of your wheelhouse. But no, it turns out you really
theoretically
like
it should be, but I don't know. I ended up really liking it. And I really like the original story and book too, so I think that goes a long way. Okay, official lists.
Okay, mine is Saving Mr. Banks. Kyle?
Prepare to throw up again, Peter, because my official film of 2013 is Saving Mr. Banks as well.
Moreno?
Okay, go on. We'll act surprised.
Monsters University.
Oh my. Oh no, you people disgust me. Okay. Well, mine was The Conjuring.
Oh, yes!
That
yes.
was going to be my honorable mention, but then I saw that Saving Mr. Banks came out later.
Talk about the fucking Banks and saving him.
We love Disney.
I'll say this. From the pure film perspective, I still find Emma Thompson's performance as P.L. Travers to be one of the most hilarious and captivating. I really do. And I think, you know, we all went into, at least I did, with the perception that this is going to be like a Walt Disney-ish kind of movie, although he's really just a supporting character. And it's more about P.L. Travers. And putting the whole Disney revisionist bullshit, as they usually do, aside, I think it is a really well-made movie about this wonderful story of Mary Poppins, which it is based on something that most people didn't know until this movie came out, about P.L. Travers, and where you know Mary Poppins came from, and I think also reinforces the importance of Mary Poppins in general. But yeah, I think it's still my favorite Emma Thompson performance. And I love Thomas Newman in any movie, especially in this. The performances, I think, I don't know. To me, it's just, it's wholesome, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
I really do
No,
love
I
this.
think it just, like, I mean, this movie just, like, kind of means a lot to me, too.
Yeah.
The year that this movie came out was the first year I got hired to work at the Disney store. So I was working when I watched it. And, I mean, yeah. I also got in a car accident right after watching it.
Well, shit.
But yeah.
Don't you think God was kind of sending you a message?
No, because it was after.
Oh. Well, yeah. It's
yeah,
like,
he wanted me to die happy.
commit sin, get punished. That's what I'm saying.
How dare you?
You know why? Oh, okay. There's something you're not telling us. I bet you at that point you're like, okay, Disney is my new god, and then you pledged yourself. You made a
if
blood
that
offering.
was something that happened, it would have been way before 2013. I mean, come on.
That's probably true.
Moreno signed her name in the mouse's book.
Yes. Wouldst thou like to live deliciously? Kyle got
We'll
it.
get to,
That's
we'll
all I
get
care.
to that, Peter. We'll get to that movie later.
Oh yeah.
That was the first year Kyle and I began talking about movies and reviewing movies on some outlet, and I think that was like our favorite experience in a movie theater that year. And it may have to do because it's Disney, but I don't know. I remember what's his name? Matt from Peter and I follow this. They're formerly known
The
as
radar technician.
No, they're a group of people that Peter and I follow on YouTube, formerly known as What the Flick, but now Breakfast All Day. And Matt from that group even said that this should have been a Best Picture contender. I think it's a wonderful movie, all in its own right. Even though, you know, the ending is the ending, but, you know, that is kind of the point of storytellers, like whipping it in the end and like, okay, let's change this here and that there. So
We need a satisfying third act.
It also helps that my favorite Disney movie of all time is Mary Poppins. And seeing the way that this like is interwoven with some other stuff and baggage, if you could believe that, I think is just it's a more emotionally driven film in that regard. Yes, Tom Hanks does a terrific job playing the salesman and the actual kind of Walt Disney figure that a lot of people know him to be, but also all eyes on Emma Thompson. I think she delivers a tremendous performance when it comes to what she is. I mean, yeah, she does play the crotchety, you know, like, oh, I say, you know, that should not be done.
And I remember one of the things that pissed Kyle off and why he hated Meryl Streep for years is because this film had an Oscar campaign. Remember how this thing happens?
Yeah.
And Meryl Streep introduced Emma Thompson in this like venue where she was like, this is like to be Emma Thompson's moment to shine. And in her speech, she criticized Walt Disney and I think called him a sexist or whatever. And that became the story for Emma Thompson's Oscar campaign, which was destroyed at that point. And one of the running jokes earlier on is that Meryl Streep successfully sabotaged Emma Thompson's Oscar campaign for Best Actress nomination, though. I think somebody else would have won either way if it had been, but still.
Oh,
yeah.
Was that the year that Jennifer Lawrence won?
No.
Or was it the 12 Years a Slave?
It was, no, that was that year, but it was for, I don't even know. I don't know. Mm-hmm. I think it was probably Lupita, but that was for supporting actress. I don't remember who won Best Actress overall. But yeah, Conjuring is James Wan directed it, right?
Yes, he did.
Love that director. I love his horror movies, and I credit like Insidious and Conjuring for like, and even Peter really for introducing these films, because like I never liked horror movies until we started talking about them, and these films were the ones that got me really like interested.
Wasn't this the first one that you really watched?
Yeah, I think so. The Conjuring, yeah.
Yeah.
Kate Blanchett won.
Oh,
for Blue
good
Jasmine.
For her.
Yeah.
Blue Jasmine.
To me, The Conjuring is like, it's like a horror blockbuster, so to speak. Like it's that perfect mix of finely executed horror with fun popcorn jump scares.
Yeah.
It really is the type of horror that I live for.
It's so much fun.
It's so much fun.
Also, Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga is
they're
really good in this.
They're great. They're really, really great. They have a lot of chemistry. They bring a lot of heart to the horror, so to speak. It kicked off the Conjuring universe, so to speak.
Yeah.
Which is, hey, it's outlived the dark universe, so that should tell you something. No, like this film, it's really, to me, I already consider it a horror classic. Like,
yeah.
I really, really love it. So it was an easy pick for me.
I love these movies. Like, before Insidious, the most I could take was The Sixth Sense.
Oh, I hear a lot of things about that one.
So when I finally like watched these, I mean, first of all, I was forced to watch these.
Yeah.
But I ended up really liking like Insidious and then the Conjuring movies and stuff.
Some Monsters University. I mean, again, go listen to the Pixar ranked show on Fantasy Fair for more
This is
context.
like the third like podcast that we talked about it in a row.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
Well, stop nominating it then.
I mean, yeah, I love this movie. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. It's the movie that I've watched the most on Disney Plus. I watch it like every day.
I know Peter said that, you know, he's seen so many better college movies, but in my experience, as far as the college films that I have seen, none of them featured any kind of heart or likable characters. And most of them were just heavy on humor, and that was it. Like, there's actual story going on here with its characters, and I appreciate that. And having seen it recently, I forget how entertaining that movie is, at least to me. Although some people swear it's complete trash, but there's that.
Who?
Moreno, you have any other movies from the year that you want to talk about?
Let's see. The
There's
Wolf
actually
of Wall
quite a few.
Street. Yeah, there is. The Wolf of Wall Street came out that year.
That's right.
This Is the End.
I actually really like that one. I think that was a really good one.
Prisoners.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Frozen came out that year.
Uh-huh. We all
World
remember
War
that.
Z. Oh yeah. World War Z. I really like that movie.
Oh, really? You like
Yeah.
World War
I
Z?
enjoyed it, yeah.
Anchorman 2.
Wait, have you... Okay, if you liked World War Z, have you ever seen Train to Busan?
Yeah.
Do you like it?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
That was a good... Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that one.
What else? Evil Dead came out that year.
The remake, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah, those are
I've got
those
more
are-
right here. American Hustle, which apparently I love and only me.
Yeah.
The Hunger Games Catching Fire. The best Hunger Games
I
film.
really like American Hustle.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Oh, Dallas Buyers Club.
Catching Fire
one's
was my favorite Hunger Games movie. Dallas Buyers Club came out that year. 12 Years a Slave. I can't talk anymore. 12 Years a
Slav?
12 Years a Slave. Her. Captain Phillips. Gravity. So many of these. And then I know one. Oh, The Heat. Sandra Bullock and Melissa McCarthy. So many of these, even some that are not as well remembered, like The Lone Ranger, and
That movie definitely happened.
Iron Man 3, which I really liked.
The best Iron Man film.
Man of Steel.
The best Iron Man film.
Fruitvale Station.
Oh, that one's really good, yeah.
Yeah. And for Kyle, Metallica Through the Never, because he made me watch that, and oh my God, never again.
He made me watch that too, and never, ever again. No. Fuck that.
You mean, thank you, Kyle.
No, fuck off. Never again. I would rather watch Scott Pilgrim for the rest of my life than watch Metallica Through the Never. Metallica Through the Never was painful.
Is it okay without the music?
It's not a movie. There's no narrative to it. It's just a concert film with like a couple of like shits and giggles going off on the side that mean nothing. It's just a music video.
I've never understood the need to watch someone play music. The whole point is to hear it. I don't know.
So you don't get concerts at all?
I don't get concerts.
Okay.
I'm very weird.
Alright.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
The year 2014. It's a wild and magical place. Actress Angelina Jolie marries actor and film producer Brad Pitt. Shirley Temple, Hollywood's #1 box office draw as a child actress during the 1930s, passes away. Fuck. Let's look at other things that aren't sad. 12 years... Wait. What year is this? Yeah, 12 Years a Slave won at the Academy Award because it's a year later. The Fault in Our Stars was the best-selling book.
Okay.
The fast food chain Quiznos files for bankruptcy. Yeah, that was 2014. Fuck it.
2014
Yeah.
was a hard one.
Yes, it really was.
I mean, I think the number one is pretty easy, and I think at least one, if not multiple.
No one
people.
cares what you think, Peter. All right, honorable mentions.
That's a bit rude.
Okay.
You're going down on the list.
Moreno, you start?
Winter Soldier.
Soja Boy. Oh, gross.
Okay. Alexis?
Winter Soldier.
What the fuck?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
What the fuck? Okay, wow. Okay, I have no idea where your list is going to go
I know
then.
exactly where his list is going.
Okay,
Yeah.
my honorable... Okay, my honorable mention is Birdman. Which apparently that movie has soured amongst our crowd here.
No, of course it hasn't. Birdman is amazing. What are you talking about is soured? I mean, I know someone is going to praise it more coming in the next few minutes, but to me, it's I think among that and Revenant, a much better film from Inarritu, but it is still to me one of a kind. This film, and it moves so fast, and yet I remember sequences in that film that just blew me away, and how it was constructed. And I really do feel like, while I think Eddie Redmayne gave a great performance in Theory of Everything that year, and I cheered the fact that he won Best Actor, I feel so bad for Michael Keaton, because this really was the role for him to win Best Actor.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't meant to be.
Which sucks.
I'll say, I guess, Winter Soldier. I mean, I've gone on about this movie several times. It's my favorite MCU movie. It would be number one if it weren't for another movie that came out this year. And there's actually another Marvel movie this year that I would have put on here. But no. Perfect movie for me. Love it. And Moreno, why Winter Soldier?
I remember having a lot of fun watching this movie. I think... Yeah, I mean...
Ah, shit.
What?
Okay, I looked at the 2014 movie list. Okay,
well, yeah, I mean, guys,
Moreno,
there's an element of surprise to be had in this.
Yeah, you guys need to...
Calm the fuck down.
Stop cheating.
Okay.
Sorry.
I mean, I just think it's a great movie. I love this one. Yeah.
Yep. That's all you got to say. It's great. And no other word matters on this.
I'll have to say that I like how the Winter Soldier did something completely different with, because we seem to be getting like the same kind of films in the past MCU films.
Well, that's truer now than it ever has been. But
until then, but this was like the first time it like completely did something different. I mean, it was a political thriller from the 70s, type of movie, and it kind of helps that Robert Redford was in it too.
I also think that not that I don't like the first Captain America, but I don't know, it's like not my favorite, and so coming into this one, I was like, oh, okay, and coming out of it, I was just like, wow, this is like really good.
This is the movie that made Captain America a rock star, I feel. And in so many ways, this and Guardians of the Galaxy were the two films that got me and Kyle like, okay, we're going to go full steam ahead with just doing movies and movies and movies and like going with it. I remember Kyle and I walked into this movie and we had seen Iron Man 3 and Thor: The Dark World, and they weren't very... great, but they were fun enough. But this movie kind of like set the bar really high.
Yeah, like we came in thinking, oh, it's just another superhero movie. But we came out, we were like, what the fuck did we watch? You know, and I could completely see that. You know, it is a really good film. It is a really good film.
Yours was what?
Yeah.
Birdman. I'm talking about Birdman. Okay,
Mine
so
was
why is
Birdman.
Birdman your number 2?
My number 2?
Your honorable mention.
Oh, you
I'm
mean
sorry.
my honorable mention? I really love the choices that it makes, and I really like how like seamless the transition between the camera work is. I adore Michael Keaton's performance in this. I think he was robbed. I mean, it was really justified when this won Best Picture, but I think that this movie really, really, like, I love the way that it speaks about like art, and I like how the fact that, you know, so like it can be very superficial at times in what the artist is going for, and it does show, like, you know, the kind of pretentiousness that art can be sometimes, while also presenting itself very pretentiously. It's a perfect mishmash of different things. Emma Stone is awesome in this. I mean, just so many different performances. The story it tells with this washed up actor from a blockbuster coming into his own as an artist. It's just a really phenomenally genuine film, and when we find out that when it leaves it kind of open-ended, and you're kind of left guessing of what happened at the end. Does he fly? What happens at the end with when Emma Stone looks out of the window? But honestly, this is a terrific film that I remember, and I was so happy. I was so happy that it won Best Picture, and I was over the moon about it. And
well, yeah.
So yeah, Birdman, really love it. Let's get to our mains, peeps. Alexis, Soto, you go
Boyhood.
first. Okay.
Yeah.
Alexis Moreno, what is your main?
Whiplash.
Wow.
Bold move.
Okay. Bold move, Moreno. Bold move. Okay. Peter.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay. All right.
You know,
mine is What We Do in the Shadows.
I'm alone here? Are you serious? Oh my gosh.
I thought you were gonna go with this
Kyle.
one.
you're the best. You simply are the best. What is Moreno? What did you say? That joke from Cars 2. That's right, Mater. You are the bomb. That's right, Kyle. You're the bomb. Love it.
Why? Because I left.
What We Do
Peter
in the
alone.
Shadows. Why is it your number 1?
Oh my god! If there was anything to compete with my favorite comedy of all time, which is Monty Python's Life of Brian, this is it. Like, holy shit! Balls to the wall, laughs from front to back. It's just, I love the dynamic between Taika Waititi, Jermaine Clement, and I forget what Deacon's name is. But the chemistry between everyone is down to earth, funny. I could quote the lines like "bat fights" and just like different things throughout the entire movie that just like it's hilarious. I love I love, spoilers for those who haven't seen the movie, when they accidentally kill Peter, the vampire, and they start like thinking with the cop. Pita. When the cops start to come, and he's like, "Oh, the cops come," and they could bring in the Christians, which is the last thing we want. I mean, just like quick delivery and punchy dialogue is what's the name of the game in this that make me laugh so much. He keeps on talking about this beast and like hyping it up so much, and then the results of who the beast is just hilarious. We're werewolves, not swearwolves. I mean, there's like so many things that make me laugh, and I'm like, I'm in tears from laughing so much with this movie. I love it. The whole kind of like mockumentary about this movie is brilliant as well. When it starts up with Taika Waititi rising from the grave coffin. Excellent way to start and show like it's kind of goofy the way it's filmed too. There's so many things with what we do in the shadows that I find exceptionally great. And honestly, it's you're left howling, screeching, and then you have Peter. And it's a gorgeous film. This got me invested in Taika Waititi. And honestly, yeah, what we do in the shadows.
How'd you come across this film?
It is an exceptional pick, Kyle, I have to say. That was a genuine surprise, and I think it is a great pick for the best movie of a year filled with, I think, great movies that we've discussed so far.
I thought Kyle and Peter's pick were going to be flopped.
Oh, they were going to be flipped, you mean?
Yeah.
So that Peter would pick What We Do in the Shadows, and Kyle would have picked Guardians. I would have picked that, but that's not what happened at all.
I thought we were going to pick the same, Peter. What happened?
That's what Peter thought.
Well, yeah, I thought that too. What happened? Well, at first, how did you come across this film?
To the Table. Go listen to The Table. Classic episodes. Moreno. So Whiplash. I didn't know you loved this movie that much. Whiplash.
I just want to prove how much joy I bring to your people's lives. That's all I want.
But you tear us down and then you give us joy. Go ahead.
Yes.
I met a demon.
Moreno.
I met a demon, and this movie shone through with the bowels of hell.
Go ahead, Moreno.
I mean, this movie is great. It gives me so much anxiety, but like in a good way.
Yeah.
Which I love. So like, I don't know, it's just like an exciting movie. And the ending, I think I love the ending. By the time I finished the movie, I like looked to David, because David's the one that made me watch it, and I was just like, what?
Signature performance by J.K. Simmons, if there ever was one. Yeah, Damien Chazelle was a great director.
I would say the same, but it's just not my tempo.
You know what? Never mind. I think it's a terrible choice.
Yeah, fuck them film. Yeah. You know, Kyle, the way you always say, like, well, you just saw the film too much, so you just can't stand it anymore. Well, I hear too many puns. When I hear too many puns from a certain film, then I just can't stand it anymore.
Like Knives Out?
Yeah, that's the way it works for me.
Okay.
Whiplash is awesome. It's that age-old question of how much is too much? Pretty much. Is it, because it is an interesting question, like what is worth it?
Mm-hmm.
I think the best part of the film, for all the yelling and not my tempo and all that shit, is when they're having the discussion about how, like, I really tried. And then he's like, well, don't you think you've discouraged people? When he's like, well, the next great person wouldn't be discouraged. And like that interesting discussion of,
Mm-hmm. I also, not that I love, but I think it's so interesting, like how, what's his face? He's like such an asshole to like everybody.
J.K.
Because
Simmons?
he wants to do, no, the student.
Miles Teller.
Yeah.
That's just him.
That he's such an asshole to everybody because he just like wants to do this one thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just how uppity basically he is about how like, oh, I'm trying to be great. Mm-hmm. And it's like, is it worth it to be quote unquote great?
Yeah.
Like, really? Yeah. Like, whenever I think about that, I always think of Michael Jackson. Other shit with him aside, I remember people would say like his dad, like, oh, he might have beat his kids, but look at where they are, and it's like I'd hear people like say that, like, what, he turned them into stars, and it's like, yeah, but look at what happened to him. Yeah, like sure, he made all that money and he became famous and da 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 da. but I don't think he had a happy life, so to speak. So it is that question of, is greatness worth it? You know,
Mm-hmm.
and especially at all means. I don't know.
We had this discussion, I think, Peter, when it came to The Shining and how Shelley Duvall was abused to get a supposedly great performance out of her during The Shining.
Yeah, and it's like, for that, I definitely lean more on no.
Abuse isn't okay
Abuse
anytime.
is never okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, the way the film tackled it, I thought was really interesting. What did you pick, Alexis?
So, Boyhood, right?
Oh.
Yeah. So to me, Boyhood is one of my, all-time favorite movies. And I've discussed this, I don't know how many times on a number of different platforms, going back to the videos or any of the podcasts. 2014 was not a good year for me personally, and I felt just mentally down. Just depressing and sad, and for a number of reasons. But this is one of those films that just comes around at the right time. And I think even to this day, no other movie has had that immediate level of impact where I always say this to everyone. I mentioned this movie, the movie ended, and I was just like literally sitting in silence for 2 hours immediately after the movie, just thinking about many of the instances in my life that were just presented to me on there in that aspect, So as far as like the emotional reaction that it got out of me, it's just a no-brainer for this being my favorite of the year.
Do I even have to talk about my pick? I'm severely disappointed that no one else picked this film. I almost didn't even pick it.
There are better movies,
because...
Peter, as you say. And we all picked better movies for us anyway, so...
Okay.
Do you have to go to the bathroom or something? You keep making that noise.
Oh, okay, Peter.
It's me trying to show restraint.
Peter.
Not working.
Peter, listen. Listen to me. Listen to me very clear.
Nobody
closely,
cares, Kyle.
okay?
Go ahead, Peter.
I would have put it, but there's another movie in the Guardians pantheon.
There's literally one other film, Kyle. Why the fuck are you saying pantheon? We know it's Guardians of the Galaxy's Volume 2. Shut the fuck up. Okay.
I was trying to reach out, but that's what happened. You slapped my
Captain
hand.
Obvious.
Yes, I did.
Seriously.
Okay, I guess I'm alone on this. Guardians of the Galaxy. I love this film. I love it very much. I assumed everyone else in this group felt similarly, but it appears not so. Yeah, this is a film. I remember when they announced this film, and it was the most excited I'd ever been for a Marvel film. And it was because it was so goddamn different. I did not know a single thing about the Guardians of the Galaxy, and that made me so excited. And it was a space adventure film, which at this point, Star Wars was not back. So personally, I was itching for some fucking space opera, anything at that point, especially in film. So Guardians of the Galaxy was really a big deal. And then when the trailer hit, and it's just such a weird, out there tone, like, holy fuck, did it speak to me. And again, it's one of those things where it's like, you're really excited, and you watch it, and it meets and then exceeds your expectations, and you just fall in love with it. I don't think there's much I have to say about this film. I love it.
I think it's an instant classic. To me, it was almost like a game changer in a way. At least it felt that way when it first came out. I remember trying to get Nettie to watch it, but then she never listens to me anyway, so it was a fail. So that really got me butthurt.
She listens to no one.
No, she really doesn't. Which, you know, she's her own person. But that was like, I don't want to watch that movie. Okay, fine, whatever. It's not over that. But it goes without say, this movie is a classic. Maybe even more so than the Avengers. Like this just changed everything. And James Gunn, so happy we get to have him back to finish off his trilogy for Guardians 3.
And I think by the time he finishes, it will be a decade.
Close
to a decade.
Oh, I mean, we would have. That's coronavirus might push that back even more. It will push that back even more. It looks like.
Yeah.
Wow. I thought it was 2022 when they come out.
I mean, they would have to get on prediction pretty quick now, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
And then there's going to be other Disney movies that are being pushed right now.
Every movie is being pushed.
Every movie is being pushed right now.
And plus, James Gunn still needs to release Suicide Squad.
He said he's editing from home Suicide Squad right now.
That's awesome. He's got a quarantine project to work on.
A huge one at that.
Any other movies from this year that you want to mention, Miss Moreno?
Grand Budapest Hotel.
Mm-hmm.
Gone Girl.
I love Gone Girl.
I'm surprised nobody said that one.
That was this year? Oh yeah. Gone Girl.
Nightcrawler.
Oh yes. Gyllenhaal is creepy in that.
There's a lot of movies this year.
Yes.
Which one? Fury came out that year.
Your favorite, Maleficent?
Ugh. Paddington. I don't know if you guys like that movie. David loves that movie.
It's a really nice movie.
Yeah.
Lego Movie.
Oh, the Lego Movie.
Was that 2013 or 14?
Lego Movie came out?
You know what? It was. I remember. Yeah.
The Interview came out that year. And Chef.
Oh, yes.
I love that.
Yes.
Yeah, those are the movies.
Remember X-Men Days of Future Past?
The Babadook.
I love the Babadook.
No,
you mean
okay.
You mean gay icon?
Gay,
the Babadook.
Legendary gay icon.
No love for Days of Future Past?
Yeah, that's a great one.
Oh, and then David loves The Edge of Tomorrow.
Yes. Really, that's actually pretty cool.
And repeat.
Mm-hmm.
Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Mm-hmm. Dragons
Matt Reeves
2?
sequel. You have 22 Jump Street. It was a great year for sequels. 22 Jump Street.
I hate those movies.
How to Train Your Dragon 2.
Uh-huh.
Not to get ahead in the list, but I just realized, like, looking at my list, it's so funny. Like, all of my films from 2010 to 2015 are like fun blockbuster type films, and then from 2016 onward it's just depressing.
Well, I mean, I think that speaks for itself. I honestly feel that way. Selma from Ava DuVernay came out that year.
Oh yeah.
Interstellar by Christopher Nolan. That was a visual mind-blowing thing to see.
That one was very controversial.
The first John Wick came out that year.
Mm-hmm. Big Hero 6.
And Big Hero 6.
Should have just been Big Hero. I don't need the 6 of them.
And the documentary on Roger Ebert, Life Itself, came out that year, which is a great film.
Yeah, so he must have died 2013?
Yeah.
2012? At least like the year or so right before. Yeah.
So overall, pretty great. And we're going to break right here. This is going to be the
intermission.
This is our intermission. In truth, this is the end of our podcast right now because we're only at 2014. We're at the midway point, and if I'm not mistaken, we're at 2 hours, 18 minutes right now. So it'll be at least that long, or even longer, if we go on for the rest of the list. So what's going to happen?
I think the next one is going to be longer.
Yes. So for the moment, we're going to go ahead and end this episode. This is part 1, and then we will continue in part 2. But until then, great discussion, guys. I love the choices so far. in the films.
Yeah, so far. Still surprised I was so alone on that last one.
Hold it with you until the next one, because there'll be even more surprises, I feel.
Oh no.
The years 2015 to 2019 are going to be, I think, even more exciting.
I think they're
going to
be very different, I think.
Which is good. We want different kinds of movies to be picked for this. So before we go, I want to also plug as I've been plugging, the Pixar ranked show coming to the Fantasy Fair, where the four of us ranked all of the Pixar movies, and that was, 3 hours long. And it's really exciting, as well as other episodes. Fantasy Fair is producing a lot of content.
We did an episode on the Imagineering story. We also did an update on the coronavirus issue. We talked about that a little bit. Plus more. We're going to be having a Disney songs ranking list coming up pretty soon.
A Disney movie princess list also.
Yes. So many.
With Peter has been invited to that one as well. So.
Okay, wait. We need to decide something right here.
We already did. You can go ahead and you can pick Atlantis.
You. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh wait.
Okay.
She's a real Disney princess, and I'm gonna go on a 15-minute rant on that when we do this. And also,
oh god,
are we picking the films they're in or the princesses themselves?
The films.
The films.
So the quality of the film.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And
okay. I can't wait to talk about my number one favorite, which is Star Wars.
No, that's where I draw a line.
Fuck know.
You. That's not a Disney princess, so go fuck yourself.
It has to be animated, first of all. And
it has to actually be made by Disney.
Yeah.
Okay, I can't wait to talk about Anastasia then.
That was made by Fox.
By Disney?
It's Disney now, bitch.
Is it? Owned by Disney is not made by Disney, okay?
And also, when Kyle is available, we're going to have audio commentaries for Fantasy Fair. We have Frozen 2 and Onward confirmed. For Red Spotlight, we have The Rise of Skywalker and Knives Out, Captain Marvel, and Spider-Man Far From Home on the way. So, coronavirus is giving us a lot of time to make as much content as we can, it looks like. So
quarantine, I barely knew her.
Get used to it, guys. We're going to be here a while, the way things are going. So, get comfortable. Yeah. Until then, thank you all for listening. Thank all of you guys for being on here. This was fun. We'll see you next time with part 2. Bye-bye.